A simple waitress moved through the upscale restaurant with quiet dignity, unaware she was being watched. As she served a sophisticated woman with extraordinary kindness, she never noticed the man in the corner, a billionaire husband observing her every move. That single moment of genuine service would change her life forever. Elellaner Miller straightened her second-hand uniform, her weathered hands telling the story of 30 years in service. At 53, she carried dignity with every step across the polished floor of the Silver Spoon restaurant, a world away from her struggling neighborhood. "Table 7 needs water, Ellie," barked the manager. "Right away, sir," she replied, voice steady, despite the morning rain that had soaked through her shoes during her 2-bus commute. Elellaner's troubles, her sister's mounting medical bills, the rent increase notice remained invisible behind her warm smile. The dreams of her own French bakery had been deferred, but never abandoned. "Just one more year," she whispered, a mantra that had somehow stretched into 5. The Tuesday lunch rush had begun when Eleanor noticed her, a woman with elegant posture and clothes that whispered wealth rather than shouted it. She sat alone at table 12, an invisible weight burdening her shoulders. "Good afternoon, ma'am. May I get you started with something to drink?" "Just water, please. I'm waiting for someone." The restaurant doors swung open, bringing a man whose presence commanded the room. James moved with quiet confidence, acknowledging his wife with only a cold nod. "Catherine," he said. "James," she replied, voice softer now. "Are you ready to order?" Eleanor asked. "She'll have the salmon, grilled, no sauce," James answered before Catherine could speak. "And I'll take the filet, rare." "Actually," Catherine interjected, her voice steadier, "I'd prefer the chicken today." A beat of silence followed, the moment when power shifts ever so slightly. James' eyes finally lifted, truly seeing Elellaner for the first time. As Elellaner collected their menus, she accidentally knocked over Catherine's water glass. In one fluid motion, she intercepted the flow with her serving towel, saving Catherine's skirt. "Oh, I'm so sorry," Elellaner exclaimed. "These things happen," Catherine said with unexpected kindness. "Please, don't worry." James watched closely, his expression inscrutable. Instead of the expected impatience, he observed in silence. "You've worked here long?" James asked suddenly. "Nearly 15 years at this establishment, sir. But I've been in service most of my life." Pause. Something in his expression shifted. A calculation, a curiosity. "Have you always been in the service industry?" he asked later, his tone casual yet probing. "Most of my life," she acknowledged, "though I trained as a pastry chef once upon a time. Dreams change, I suppose, or sometimes just wait their turn." Catherine's eyes brightened. "A pastry chef? What's your specialty?" "French pastries," Elellaner answered, passion breaking through her professional demeanor. "My grandmother was from Normandy, taught me everything about butter and patience." When she returned to clear their plates, James interrupted mid-sentence. "Elellaner, how long have you had this dream of opening a bakery?" "Nearly 30 years now," she admitted. "Started small when my sister got sick. Needed steady work with benefits, more than I needed to chase dreams." "And your sister? She's still fighting?" 27 years with MS, some days better than others. Catherine's hand moved unconsciously to her heart, genuine empathy crossing her features. "We'd like the check now," James said finally. As Elellaner returned with it, she noticed Catherine reaching for her purse, but James stopped her with a gentle hand on her wrist. The first tender gesture between them. "Thank you for your exceptional service today, Elellaner. You've given us more than just a meal." The following morning, a sleek black car waited outside Elellaner's modest apartment building. "Miss Miller, my name is Rebecca Harrington, executive assistant to James Wilson of Meridian Investments. Mr. Wilson would like to meet with you this morning." 20 minutes later, Elellaner sat in James' office, Catherine unexpectedly present. "Yesterday at lunch," James began, "my wife and I were celebrating our 25th wedding anniversary." "James," Catherine interjected gently, "you're circling the point, Ms. Miller. I've built my career on recognizing untapped potential. Yesterday, I observed how you handled our table, and more importantly, how you treated my wife with genuine respect." He placed a folder on the coffee table. "I'm offering full financing for a bakery in the Highland District. Prime location, equipment, staffing, support." "Why?" The question was simple, but loaded with the weight of a lifetime of doors closed before she could even knock. "Because it makes business sense," James replied. "The area needs anchor businesses with community ties." "This isn't charity," James added. "It's an investment with expected returns. Meridian would hold 40% interest. As Rebecca showed her out, Catherine touched her arm. "Yesterday at lunch, James and I weren't just celebrating. We were discussing divorce. The way you treated me with such dignity, it made James see me again. Really see me, for the first time in years." 3 days later, Elellaner stood before the weathered storefront, her decision made. "Before I sign," she told James back in his office, "I have conditions. First, we partner with the community college's culinary program to create apprenticeships. Second, we establish a foundation for service workers with medical hardships named for my sister. And third, I want Catherine on my advisory board, not you." James smiled genuinely. "You don't just want to build a bakery, you want to build a legacy." "I've spent my life watching how wealth moves through the world," Elellaner replied. "If I'm going to have some of it now, I intend to make it touch people who look like me." "True. I intend to make it touch people who look like me." 1 year later, Eleanor's place stood as a beacon in the Highland District. Eleanor moved with practiced grace behind the counter, chef's coat crisp and white, her name embroidered above her heart. Catherine sat in the corner, not as the wife of a billionaire, but as a woman rediscovering her own voice. The community center across the street hosted programs funded by the Margaret Miller Foundation. "James says the investment returns have exceeded projections by 30%, Catherine mentioned. Eleanor laughed. "Tell him it's not about the money. It never was." Later that afternoon, James examined the community impact chart near the register. You've transformed this corner of the city, he observed. No, Mr. Wilson. This corner of the city transformed me. I just had to be seen first. For Elellaner Miller, the journey wasn't about becoming someone new, but about the world finally catching up to who she had always been. A woman of extraordinary, ordinary grace, whose dignity had always been her truest wealth.